Welcome to Randall Reacts. It's essentially a show where I react to the most inspiring content on the internet. So if you've watched any video that you've come across that has really inspired you, I'd encourage you to leave the link in the comments below and it may be featured on the next episode. Before we begin, I just want to double check that everything is working properly. Phenomenal. So on this episode, we have Micheal Todd, and he speaks on why 99% of relationships fail. So before we go ahead, I just want to do a quick live check just to make sure everything's working properly.
If you can't deal
Okay, wonderful. Awesome stuff. So I'm going to give you my honest reactions and we're going to take it from there. So let's buckle up. Let's see where this goes. Why 99% of relationships fail. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's go.
with you, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, if you can't forgive yourself, if you can't say we failed back there, but there's still greatness in the inside of you. If you can't do that to yourself, it's very difficult to love somebody else at that level.
Okay, we're cooking already. But let's go on. Let's go on. We're cooking already. If you can't love yourself,
level. Our relationships are really a reflection. The reason it's not working is because you can't divorce you.
Is it too late to heal and repair because of the baggage of someone in a relationship? Or can you still heal and mend and recreate a new relationship in a broken relationship?
Now that's a good question.
What do you say to people that are really struggling, that really want love, really want intimacy and connection and just deep compassion with someone else, but they're afraid to do the healing?
And if you've just joined right now, just a quick note. If you can hear everything properly, just give a thumbs up, letting me know that you can hear the sound and the audio, the visual as well. So very first episode of Randall Reacts. So I'd really love you to just let me know if everything's okay. Hey, Grant. Let me know, Grant, if everything's okay over there. And then we can move on. Okay, wonderful.
Healing work because the trauma is so scary.
You need to examine the pattern.
Do you think we are ever able to run away from our past or our traumas?
I think you gotta have a dream.
The School of Greatness.
Really?
Yeah.
Please welcome Lewis House.
Welcome back, everyone, to the School of Greatness. Very excited about our guest. We have the inspiring Pastor Micheal Todd in the house.
Yes, sir.
Very excited that you're here. Thank you.
First off, congratulations to you, my.
Just so you know, if you're not familiar with Micheal Todd, he's the lead pastor at Transformation Church, and he's just blown up just with his style of preaching. And I really gravitated towards his ministry. So you're in for a good treat here. I've never watched this before, so it's going to be a good treat for me as well. Thanks, Grant, for letting me know that the sound is all good. Let's go.
Brother, you are killing it, and you and your beautiful fiance.
Thank you, man.
I don't know. I had to fly out here for this interview.
I'm excited, man.
Last time we did this, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, man.
And I'm just excited to be with you, bro.
I'm excited, man. You are a rising spiritual leader in the world. You've got an incredible church and community in Oklahoma. You have written a New York Times bestselling book, multiple books, #1 New York Times bestselling book of relationship goals, which we had you on here for last time. And now you've got a new book, Damaged But Not Destroyed, From Trauma to Triumph.
Yes, sir.
That I think is going to really...
Just by the way, I'm not sure if you're thinking about this too, but I'm looking at Micheal Todd's hairstyle right there. And he's probably the first pastor that I've seen have a hairstyle like that that's actually really mainstream. He's keeping it fresh. He's keeping it fresh.
Inspired and impact a lot of people. And I'm excited for people to dive into this because I think a lot of people are driven by wanting to have love and success.
Yes, sir.
They want to feel empowered and powerful. But a lot of us are driven to get into relationships or driven to be successful.
Did you hear the word driven? I had to just stop in there.
Based on some type of wound or trauma of not feeling enough, not being lovable, having something that's holding us back, and we're trying to prove ourselves.
Yes, sir.
I raised my hand from the past of me being in that situation in
Me too.
business, sports, and relationships.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this before. That drive, that wound can get us to incredible heights.
Yeah.
But it can also be the thing that kills us.
Yes, sir.
And
Sure. So powerful, Lewis. Lewis, that's so spot on. And I'm sure as you're watching right now, you can attest to it that the same blessing is potentially can be a curse at the same time.
and burns us out and go through breakup and hardship.
Yeah.
I want to start with relationships before we get into success.
Okay.
Why do you think a lot of relationships aren't working out today?
Yeah.
Specifically to our culture and society, is it because people are choosing wrong? Is it because they're getting into a relationship at the
Getting
wrong
straight into
time? Is it because they're not clear on the tools on how to have healthy relationships
Yeah.
and intimacy? What do you think is wrong with relationships today?
So, first off, I want to say that relationships are how we were, I believe, designed to interact with each other in this life. So for everybody that's listening and watching, be like, that's why I don't do no relationships. I don't want no relationships. Like, you're missing out on, I believe, what is the fabric, the most valuable connection you could have is authentic, real, life-giving relationship with somebody else.
Now, this goes so against the culture right now where I don't need a man, I don't need a woman, I'm going to do things all on my own. I'm going to get my paper. You see where I'm going with this? I'm interested to hear what he has to say. Let's hear.
So for everybody that's been hurt, I just feel to start there, to everybody who's been burned and wounded and all that other stuff, I do believe that this is how God intended for it to be, us to be in relationship. But the reason, to answer your question, why I think it's so hard and it doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing well in relationship is because of three reasons. Number one, I don't think that they're bringing their full self to the relationship. I think many times when people start in relationship, they really give versions of themselves.
Sure.
And I understand it to a degree, but some people have been married for 10 years and still they've never met who they really.
Aina. Listen, if a word, if any of this blesses you, say, either say amen in the chat, or if it's a hurtful thing that gets you in your side, say aina. It's an Afrikaans word that says ouch. So this is an aina one about putting on that mask in a relationship. That's a big aina.
Are married to.
Ooh.
Some people have been in business with people for years and they've never really met their business partner.
Right.
They're getting these versions of them that are triggered by, number two, their trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So the version I present of you is not really who I am. It's who I am after I was in the relationship with the last guy. It's
Okay, we are starting this episode like this. So he's saying that we are bringing in the past version of ourselves into the new relationship. Okay, talk to me, Todd. Talk to me.
after I'm in the relationship with the last business partner. So when I come, I don't come with fresh trust. I don't come with fresh expectation. I don't come assuming the best. I come to you like, maybe you won't hurt me like the other person did. So I'm going to give you this much because I never want to actually feel that again.
Wow.
And you can never really love unless hurt is an option.
Wait, say that one more time.
You can never really love
Okay.
if being hurt is not an option.
Interesting.
And a
Whew. I think this is such a teachable moment right here. It's like we are so protective over our hearts that we go into something not really loving because we're afraid of getting hurt. And Micheal is saying right here that in order to really love, we've got to be so vulnerable. If you relate to this, let me know in the chat. And also, if you have a video that you really found inspiring, let me know in the chat as well. Put the link in the chat and it may be featured on the next episode. But let's continue. Man.
lot of people are trying to mitigate the hurt so they also mitigate the amount of love they can feel.
Interesting.
And at the level that you are vulnerable, it's the level that you can actually experience the love, the acceptance, the joy that you
Yes,
really
sir.
want in a marriage. And so I always ask people, I was like, who are you bringing to this relationship? Are you bringing the broken, battered, wounded, jacked up, pessimistic version of yourself to this? Are you actually saying, you know what? I need to start over. This is a brand new person. I need to maybe not even be in a relationship right now so I can go heal.
So let's break that down. So you got to so he's saying we've got to realize that this is a brand new person. And it's so easy to not recognize that and treat that same person, treat the new person ish like the old person. And then he said, maybe it's not even time to be in a relationship. If you are single right now and you are single on purpose because you want to take time to heal, take time to learn, kudos to you, dog. Kudos to you. And, female, men and female, of course.
And that's my burden of even this book and some of the things that I'm talking about. I really feel like the quality of our life would increase if we would allow the quality of our healing to increase. And most people don't want to take the time to heal. I mean, you used to play ball.
Man.
Like, think about it. Every contact sport has an off season. And the primary reason for an off season is what?
Healing.
Healing. I've been getting hit. I've been running. I've been lifting weights. I've been ripping and tearing and all the different things. So I need a season so that I can become the version of me that I know I can be up here. But my body, my emotions, my will needs time to become that in here.
Yes.
And a lot of people are jumping from relationship to relationship, business entrepreneurship to business entrepreneurship partner. They're going from this to that. And I'm scared that many people aren't reaching their greatest purpose or their greatest height because they have not taken the time to actually heal. And so that would be the answer to my question, to your question holistically. I think people aren't doing good in relationships is because they're not tending to themselves.
Right. They're not tending.
Whew. What a word right there. Listen, if this is resonating with you, let me know in the chat if it's resonating with you. And if you want to contribute to this conversation, I will read the comments thereafter. But man, listen, I think this is content that it's not like we haven't heard this before, but it's always nice just to get that reminder, right? And whether it is packaged in a pasta, whether it is packaged with someone that's looking fresh like this, doesn't matter how it's packaged, it's always good to get a reminder. So let's continue. Let's see if he cooks up some more.
So you said not bringing the full self to the other person, whether it's intimacy, whether it's friendship or business. They're allowing their traumas to guard them or hold them back as well because they're not allowing themselves to recover or heal. What would be the third thing, did you say?
I would say that the third thing of this, now you got my mind going 1,000 places. Now I'm ready to start relationship goals part 2. But the third thing would be that they don't tend to themselves.
Yeah, they don't tend to themselves, yeah.
So what ends up happening is I'm a person of faith. And so the Bible says that you can only love your neighbor at the level that you love yourself.
Come on. And that's an Aina moment. That's an ouch moment right there. Because that really gets to the core. It gets to the core question of how much do we love ourselves? Ish, papa. Let's continue.
So if you have a level 2 out of 10 of self-love,
you
and
only
self-care,
can give at maximum a 2.
Wow.
And a lot of times you don't give nobody else the maximum.
I guess now the question is, how do we know how much we love ourselves? If you can answer that question, I hope Pastor Mike touches on this, but it begs the question to me now. Okay, it begs the question, how do I know how much I love myself so that I can see how much I love others? Let's see what they say. And let me know in the comments too.
Right.
So again, if you can't deal with you, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, if you can't forgive yourself, if you can't say we failed back there, but there's still greatness in the inside of you. If you can't do that to yourself, it's very difficult to love somebody else at that level. And that's where I think a lot of times our relationships are really a reflection. The reason it's not working is because you can't divorce you. But you can let go of them. And you don't like what you're getting from you, but you can not.
Hold on. What just happened there? Did you catch that? That's 808. Let's just rewind a little. Let's play that back again.
And that's where I think a lot of times our relationships are really a reflection. The reason it's not working is because you can't divorce you, but you can let go of them. And you don't like what you're getting from you, but you can not like what you're getting from them and try it again. Wow. And so I think that sometimes I'm talking heavy right now, Lewis, but what I am saying is I feel like some people need to take time to reflect and remember, to retool and then renew. And I think that's how out of that, your relationships will be so much more vibrant. They'll be so much more intentional, as well as you'll get to experience the fruitfulness and the joy out of those relationships because you've done enough work on you to know what you're actually looking for.
Sir.
This idea of healing is something that
Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? I don't think it's anything you haven't heard before, but man, it's always so good just to get it so fresh, man. And for those that are on the stream right now, a major salute to you. I'm glad you are here. It means that you are really want to edify your spirit. So major salute to you. And let me know in the chat that you are here.
I've really loved over my last decade, but specifically over the last 2.5 years, I've dived deeper into internal and spiritual healing.
Yes, sir.
And it has created a level of peace and an internal environment of harmony that I've never experienced in my life.
Yes, sir.
That allows me to see clearly, or at least more clearly, right?
Yeah.
Of who's in front of me, what I want. It just gives me more awareness. But I remember many years, if not decades, feeling very anxious when a relationship wasn't working out, going through a breakup, and feeling like I got to get back on, my relationship game quickly.
Isn't that so true? Especially as guys, once we are done a relationship, it's almost like we want to rush straight into another relationship. Have you ever experienced that? Has that ever happened to you? Once you have broken up, you just want to find the next best thing?
And never really taking the time to heal because it was really scary.
Yeah.
It was really scary to face the trauma or the shame or the whatever it was I was holding on to. It was scary, and all I wanted was intimacy and connection with someone else.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be alone.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone can relate to this.
Everybody
watching or
can
listening.
relate to that. Everybody
So
can.
for those
Because sometimes it's scary to be alone, right? But let's see what they say.
who are like, you know what, but I feel so alone. I feel so scared. This trauma, I don't want to think about it because it's so dark.
Yeah.
Or it's so hard for me to focus on. What do you say to people that are really struggling, that really want love, really want intimacy and connection and just deep
Come on, Mike.
compassion with someone else, but they're afraid to do the healing work because the trauma is so scary?
So the trauma is so scary, you're afraid to do the work. My question to you is, have you ever been in that situation, or currently are you in that situation? If you are, let's see what Mike says.
So I would say to you, because I know there's thousands of people watching this that feel that exact same thing. You need to examine the pattern.
Man, that's so true.
Because if this is a pattern of you continually getting hurt because you do not heal, then it might be better for you long term to do the work to heal so that you can cut the cycle.
Yes.
So essentially take some time out to heal. Now, my question is, and I hope that he answers this, and if you know the answer to this, please put it in the chat just in case Pastor Mike doesn't answer it. But what are some of the ways, Pastor Mike, and I'm speaking to you like you on screen right now. Pastor Mike, what are some of the ways to heal? That's my question, and I hope you answer it right now.
I think about rest in heaven, Kobe Bryant, when he tore his Achilles, and he said he could come back and play before he was fully healed. He was ready. I mean, and he would have probably been better than 9 out of 10 people on the floor. He could have fooled everybody, but he knew he wasn't his 100%.
He wasn't.
So in other words, if Kobe needed some time to rest and heal, how about us?
His best.
He was not his best. So if it came down to the last minute when he really needed to be his best, he wouldn't have what he needed to have. So they took the time for him to actually heal. What I'm saying is you may be fooling everybody. Your Instagram is popping, your business is successful, you got the bag and the body and you got all the different things, but you know deep down in your soul, your mind, will, and emotions, you know you're still hurting.
Ooh.
And so what ends up happening is you
I just want to stop right there. You know, typically what I found was that whenever someone is really successful on social media, it's almost like the counter opposite occurs. You mega successful on social media, but then there's another area of one's life that is suffering. So let's not just lesson here. Let's not be fooled by those online. And I mean, there are those that has that congruency. So there's a caveat to that for sure.
come in limping to love. You limp into love.
Wow.
Instead of leaping into love.
Right.
You should be able to go a lot higher, but because you're still aware of the thing that you need to be healed, you don't go. And so what I'm saying is, if this is a pattern, if it's been the same, it was John, and then it was Joey, and then it was Julio, then it was Jaquan, and then it was Jared. Like if it's the same thing, you might want to step back and get a new perspective, because the pattern is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And a season of discipline can produce a lifetime of freedom.
Come on.
And that's where I just,
A season of discipline creates a lifetime. What did he say there? You mustn't get so frazzled and you don't remember.
then it was Julio, then it was Jaquan, and then it was Jared. Like if it's the same thing, you might want to step back and get a new perspective, because the pattern is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And a season
Here we go.
of discipline can produce a lifetime of freedom.
Come on.
Woo.
And that's where my encouragement, I've counseled too many people. I've been around too many people. I've helped so many people get through this hump in their life. And what they realize is what they're scared of, they need the most. That intentional time with themselves, that intentional time with God, that intentional time with community, that intentional time in counseling. They need that, because if you discover you, if you find out who you were made to be and walk in your purpose and get confident in that thing, then you actually will attract what you really want to love.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are attracting to their insecurities.
Ooh, man, that's true.
You're attracting based on your trauma, not on the healed version of you.
Right.
And so you're looking for somebody to play savior, and they can't. They
Listen, this is some heart-piercing stuff right here. Man. Listen, if you're getting value from this, I'd want you to let me know in the chat. I see Christy's in the house, Ryan, we have Andre, we have Daryl. Listen, this is just going to get better. So I'd encourage you to just stick around. Man, why 99% of relationships fail? And here we have the answers right here. And I believe there's still some more that we're going to get. So I'm excited. If you are here, let me know that you are here. Big shout out to all those that are in the chat. Let's continue.
never been able to have that ability in this life. And so I would just encourage those people. I know it's hard. I know it's frustrating. I know you probably even tried before. But as someone who can identify with you, like as someone who did not want to face their trauma, did not want to talk about the bad stuff that happened, did not want to even block stuff out. No, I'm not going there. Like the journey that I've gone on to actually take everything that has damaged me and say, you know what? I may be damaged, but I'm not destroyed.
Come on. Teach, Doc. I might be damaged, but I'm not destroyed. And just to allude to the previous point that he made is that being alone and isolated and with ourselves can be scary, because then we are face to face with our trauma. And he's saying that we need to get right into that space, into that vulnerable space. Man, let's go.
This thing that was trauma, it actually can be fuel to make me triumph. I learned that the value was still in me. And then once I learned the value was in me, then I could give and add value to other people. And so I'm telling you, it may be hard, but it's going to be worth it.
Wow.
Come on.
You've been married for 14 years now?
14 years.
14 years.
Long
Together
time,
21, is that
Yeah,
right?
this is my high school sweetheart. Met her when I was
incredible.
15 years old, and she's still the finest woman I've ever seen in my
That's
life.
amazing.
I love her.
Yeah, I'm assuming, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming.
Just on that point, it's so rare that you see, people are still with the same sweetheart crush since they've, we back in high school. It's really rare, and it's really admirable. It's something you don't see very often.
that when you met her, you weren't
I was a boy.
you weren't on the healing journey yet.
No, I was a boy. I was
You had-
still messing up.
You had traumas, you
Yes.
had challenges, you
Yes.
were struggling. And I'm assuming when you got married, you still had a lot of traumas and challenges, right?
Yes.
So how do you heal in relationship
Come on.
if you've made a commitment to someone already and you realize, oh, you know what? I still got my wounds and traumas and I'm still kind of messing up in certain
Yes.
ways. And maybe she is too.
Yeah.
But we've been together for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years now.
Yep.
Now we got kids and we're realizing we've been trauma bonding or reacting or triggering each other or hurting each other unintentionally, or I've been hurting myself. Is it too late to heal and repair because of the baggage of someone in a relationship?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or can you still heal and mend and recreate a new relationship in a broken relationship? I'm not saying yours was broken, but anyone.
This is what I do. And for everybody that's listening, you have to go get my book, Relationship Goals. This is
amazing.
not what we're talking about
Right,
today,
right.
but it will help you. It's how to win in marriage, dating, and sex. And you really need to get that. And my answer to your question, Lewis, is yes. Overwhelmingly yes. Two broken people who make a decision to do something are way more powerful than a broken person who decides, I don't want to try.
Okay, so some encouragement for us right here that we can heal from all the trauma from the past. Because Pastor Mike is saying if two people decides on doing it, then it's much better than just one person doing it. And I'd like to hear what he says further.
Like trying turns into training, and training can change your destiny. And so I've seen it in my life. I've seen it because the reason I say get the book, because I tell you all the stuff I did. Like I messed up, I jacked up, I lied, I had months of insanity. I did all that other stuff. But this is my motto: progression, not perfection. If somebody's
I just want to stop right there. Progression, not perfection. Isn't that so encouraging, eh?
sees that you are moving forward or making attempts, statistics tell us that their ability to have grace for your mistakes grow exponentially.
Wow.
Many times people are frustrated by the immobility of somebody or the paralyzation of somebody or the nonchalant, I don't care, I'm not doing nothing attitude. But when somebody sees somebody trying, their grace goes up significantly.
So true.
What I'm saying is it can't be one-sided, but if two people come together and say, you know what, we've been jacked up. We've been messing each other up. I trigger you, you trigger me. This turns into all of this stuff.
We've made mistakes
We've
with
made
each other,
mistakes. We've jacked up. We've cheated. We've hurt each other. We spent money that people didn't know. Let's be real about it. Like I went on a vacation with my girls and you had no idea what was happening, or were you really out with your boys watching the game, or were you? Come on, like real stuff. I have seen all of those things change when people have made a decision.
Wow.
And this is what I say, I think I told you earlier, it applies to so many areas of your life. Okay. When you make a decision, your decision changes into a discipline. You have to do something that's a discipline. Okay, we're gonna go to counseling once every 2 weeks. Or we're going to meet with another couple that's older than us and ask them how the hell they didn't kill each other. Right. Or we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We need a discipline. We're gonna take walks together. We're gonna talk. We're gonna make a discipline. But once you get that discipline, somewhere around the consistency being all the time, even when you don't want to, it turns into a desire.
Yes.
You literally go from a decision to a discipline to a desire.
Okay, so a decision to a discipline to a desire. Okay, talk to us about the desire, Pastor. Come on.
That desire continued will change your destiny. You can apply that to any area of your life. You can apply it to relationships, money. You can apply it to what we were talking about earlier, health and working out. But I'm telling you, this is the formula for life. It is a decision. I don't want to, but I'm going to do it. That turns into a discipline. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to do it.
Come on.
Which then one day turns into a desire. Man, I actually want to do this. And then it changes your destiny.
Wow.
And if you can apply that to any area of your life with consistency, you will take every trauma situation and it has to turn into triumph.
I'm going to remember that. I hope you remember that too. Discipline, or rather decision, turns into discipline. Discipline turns into desire, and desire turns into destiny. Man, let's remember that one. The 4 Ds. Never mind triple Ds. It's 4 Ds up in here.
Ooh,
Every single one
man.
of them.
And that's something you've been doing in your health journey over the last year now, year and a half, or what?
About 2 years.
2 years. Because
Yes,
when
sir.
I saw you, I think it was about 2 years ago when I saw you last.
Yeah, I was a little fluffier, bro. I was a little more packed on. I
you
had a
had
little
some-
extra weight
Yeah,
on
you
me.
had some extra love on you.
Yeah,
you know, so-
yeah.
But what allowed you to make a decision with your health to
Yeah.
optimize health? Because it's been a 2-year journey. You've been disciplined on this journey of health.
Especially moving into 2024 right now. What are you going to share with us regarding health, Pastor? Let's hear.
Was there a trauma holding you back? Was there an old pattern holding you back? Was it just life
All right,
was
we're
good?
we're on the School of Greatness podcast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hot, humble,
All right.
open, and transparent.
Come on.
The truth of the matter was, I was an emotional eater. If we won, I ate. If we lost, I ate. If somebody died, I ate. If somebody had a baby, I ate.
Are you the same way? Because this is so common. And I really hope Mike shares with us how we got over emotional eating. Mike, you've got to do it for us right now. Do it for us, baby. Come on. And thank you so much for being so transparent, brother.
Like, it was like, what do you do that you are in control of that makes you feel good? Cookies and cream ice cream, Bluebell,
all that.
I mean,
Doritos barbecue flavor. That's for me, that was my emotional eating. Doritos barbecue flavor, milk tart, Gatsby's, biltong. I'm naming all South African foods right here. Sweet chili wrap from McDonald's. So good. But hey, that's in the past.
burgers with cheese and all, like it was just, and it didn't matter what time of night. I find myself 2 o'clock in the morning, like, what's open? Like
Ice cream,
like
let's go.
ice cream, like, and I was an emotional eater that I never addressed it. I never even thought about it. When I began to gain another level of success, responsibility, all of these different things, now it gets magnified because I'm feeling it all the time. Like I'm responsible for this many people's livelihoods, and people are depending on me to be inspired and be drawn closer to God and all this other stuff. And you start feeling that pressure. And what do? You need a release.
Food.
On that point, and yes, Ryan, Gatsby's for sure. On that point, like, what I take from this is once you get more responsibility and once you're more in the open, in the limelight, you are then more conscious of what you are doing. But as long as you're behind the scenes and nobody knows what you're doing, that's when you can really just be devious and just treat your body like you want to treat it. So I think the lesson here is really not to be isolated, because isolation causes all this nonsense.
Here is a bonus relationship tip thanks to our sponsor, Regain. That.
Yeah.
And then us doing it has been a beautiful foundational process. You've heard us talk about BetterHelp online therapy, so we also want to share their couples therapy option.
No more ads.
With 5 and 10 dumbbell weights, I was out of shape. I could not run for more than 5 minutes. Like, it was horrible. And everybody laughing right now, just okay, hold your horses, because now it's a whole different thing. Like, literally for a 2-year process, I turned my garage into a gym. The trainer comes to my house 6 days a week. Wow. Like, I invested money. I invested in equipment. I stopped buying cars and stopped doing all the other stuff, because what good is it to have a vehicle that I can drive that looks good and the vehicle God gave me is trash?
Oh.
Like, think about it. How many people are driving in luxury cars, and the one vehicle that you get and you can't trade out and you can't lease out, you are literally riding around or walking around in a hoopty.
Right.
No more.
And I was like, no,
more.
I'm gonna put this into this. And literally, I've lost over 50 pounds. Wow. I'm stronger than I've ever been in my whole life. But
50 pounds in 2 years. Major salute to you. Major salute. But man, so true. God has given us one body, and here we are treating it like a hoopty. Oh no, whatever I'm going to put in my body is going to be a premium gas, baby. No more whoopty action. No more, in SA, the taxi, the gachis are driving with screwdrivers, steering wheels. Hey, and you got 12 people in a vehicle and you're driving with a steering wheel, screwdriver. My life is in your hands.
The truth of the matter is the least thing that happened to me is the physical transformation. It's what happened to my mind. It's what happened to my emotions. I am more confident in my word now than I have ever been.
In your word.
In my word. Because a lot of times we say stuff and the reason it doesn't happen is because we don't believe what we say.
Right.
A lot of times it's not anybody external. It's like, I'm gonna make $1 million. And it's like, I don't even believe that. Like, hopefully it happens, but like, you don't believe your own word. And the person that you need to trust the most when it comes to doing what you need to do is yourself. And many times, we know how many times we break our promises to ourselves. I'm not gonna eat the cake, and 10 minutes later, you're eating the cake. I'm not gonna talk to her, or I'm not gonna make that business deal. It's too much money. We know that the person, if you really evaluate, the person who has broken their promise to you more than anybody is you.
That's true.
So what happens when you don't trust you? It makes you approach other people differently. And so for me, this process has made me trust myself.
Sure.
I know when I did 75 hard, and I don't know if you know about that program.
I know for self-identity,
Yeah, bro, I did 75 hard.
That's hard.
It's hard.
2 a days.
2 a days. One has to be outside, a gallon of water,
read 10 pages of book.
You got the whole thing.
Yeah.
This 75 days, and Christy, I see your comment over here. We'll definitely get to it after the segment. But 75 days, I've heard about the 75-day challenge. I haven't really explored it in detail. But if you are someone that has done it or is currently doing it, let me know in the chat. But that's crazy, eh? For 75 days, 2 a days. You can see how people can lose tons of weight with that. And imagine just the mental transformation and the habit building that you will have when you're doing things 75 days over and over and over again, how deep you will install that habit.
I did it. And I did it not in this shape. I did it a year ago.
Oh man, that's even harder.
Oh, bro. But when I finished that, this is not a season anymore. This is my lifestyle.
Wow.
I believe me now. So doing the physical work with the emotional and spiritual work, I feel like a new person, bro.
Wow.
I have literally turned into a different person with the same values, but a different vehicle.
That's incredible.
And that is what I desire for everybody. It was like my life was in black and white, and now it's in full HD color. And I believe that those 3 components, the spiritual side, connection with God, the physical side, connection with yourself, and the emotional side, the connection with everything that's happened to you.
Okay.
If you work on those, if you do the hard work in those areas, the quality of life you will live.
So he says the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. And he's saying if we work on those areas, Pastor Mike, share with us what's going to happen.
It's off the charts.
Here is a bonus relationship tip thanks to our sponsor, Regain. I want to feel emotionally safe. Would you be open to going to therapy in the beginning of the relationship? Not when things have problems in the future, but can we go to discipline with your health?
Yeah.
But you're still on the rise.
Yeah.
You're still serving. You're getting all this real estate. You're impacting people.
Yeah.
Millions of people are following you. Where would you be in 5 to 10 years?
I would have unhealthy habits that would jeopardize everything.
Really?
Oh, well, it's how the human nature is.
Huh?
If you're not healthy, but you still are making great impact,
Okay.
what ends up happening is that great impact starts to affect you differently because it becomes a harder pressure because you do not have the vehicle or the vehicle,
container.
the container to do what you need to do.
And that's what one of the core tenets that we have for Driven Daily is train every day. And it's physical training and mental training. However, for the physical piece, it's so important because, like we always say, you can have $1 million in the bank, but if your body is crippled and if your body is unhealthy, all you want is your health. You can have the best marriage, but if you don't have your health, all you want is your health. So your health is the foundation and the springboard. Of course, the initial foundation is God. However, straight thereafter, it's your health. So come on, teach, doc, teach. I got to be on that podcast right now. Lewis, if you're listening to this right now, I'm coming for you, or I'm coming to you.
So you need to find ways to medicate.
To numb, to medicate, to whatever.
To release all of those words.
Right.
And that's when people start making stupid decisions.
Oh, man. What is the decisions that most people make?
Oh, it's been the same since the beginning of time. It's the girls, the gold, it's the greed. It's the, like, you start.
What are the decisions? Did I hear girls or gold? I know gold. Let's hear again.
In your voice. And for great reason, right? Because you're bringing a lot of joy, inspiration, and service to people. Where do you think you would be in 5 to 10 years had you not taken care of the
life they prayed for? And that's when people start making stupid decisions.
Oh, man. What is the decisions that most people make?
Oh, it's been the same since the beginning of time. It's the girls, the gold, it's the greed. It's the, like, you start taking more than you're supposed to.
Okay.
You start investing in relationships that have no actual benefit for your life. You start becoming, you got into it with the right motivation, and now the motivation is just money. And so it changes the heart and the content of what you're doing, because it's not about actually helping people. It's about how many people can help me.
So true. I found myself in the past in a situation where I didn't have money. And then all of a sudden, what I wanted was money. And that was everything I wanted to have. And then I neglected family, I neglected friends. And I've come to realize we can have it all. We can have the health. We can have the wealth. We can have the spiritual well-being. We can have it all. Gone are the days where you can just focus on having money and then you neglect your health or your family. Listen, if you are watching this right now, I want to encourage you that you can have it all. You can have it all.
Like, when motives change, the ways that I release change, and then, I mean, we haven't even talked about the substance abuse. Like, I can't tell you how many athletes and people that I mentor and pray for and help that they're literally inebriated more than half of the day.
Sure.
Like,
smoking, alcohol, drugs, mushrooms,
pills,
whatever. Yeah.
They're literally not remembering the life they prayed for.
Wow.
They were in some locker room or somebody's mom's house praying that they could get into this situation. And now they are so overcome with their past traumas and their current pressures that they are literally numbing themselves and saying, bro, I don't even remember. So you're living the greatest moment of your life and you don't even remember it?
So the question begs, and I'm asking myself this as well, what are we numbing? What are we using to numb our pain? What are we using to numb our trauma? Is it alcohol? Is it food? Is it sex? What are we numbing? If we are numbing anything, right?
And it's because this is what we do as humans, because I don't believe that God created our bodies to be able to handle that kind of stress and trauma. And so we have to figure out a way to keep going because we want the results of it, but we can't really keep going because it's killing us.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so we try to find ways to do it. And that's why I say the safest way to get into the place that you need to be is you need to deal with your past issues so it can change your present situation and it can prepare for you a great future.
Yes.
So if I was interviewing Mike right now, I would then ask him the question, and this is a loaded question, but I'd like to know what's the first step in dealing with, what would you advise in the first step of dealing with our past trauma? Because that question is such like a big elephant in the room. Great job though, Lewis. This is quite the interview. Let's continue. And Major respect to all those in the chat. I see we've got Reese, Mathen, we've got Fahim, Gail, Nigel. What's up? We have Christy. I'm going to get to the comments a little bit after the segment. Hey, Ryan. Let's continue.
Do you think we are ever able to run away from our past or our traumas?
No. Your body keeps the score.
It does.
Like, I mean, people act like not saying it does something. No, your body is a computer that is taking all the information and it's storing it.
And how is it storing it?
Stress, hypertension.
Okay.
All of the. I mean, we have people dying of heart attacks at 32.
It's crazy.
Like there is so much information coming to us every day, all the time. So many ideas, so many opinions. All of those things were never a part of the core creation DNA for a human being. So you think about processing all of that and then processing processed food and then taking on all
digital
of the pressure
information.
and digital information and then worried about everybody's comments of you and how skinny and how, like, think about the stress that your body and your mind and your emotions is under, not to mention that then real life stuff happens. You have a miscarriage. You lose a loved one. COVID happens and your business has to shut down.
Yeah.
Like, that means that something has to be prioritized. And that something is not anything external. It needs to be us. We need to deal with the issues, the lies, the hurts, the layers that have made us into this person, but maybe the very thing that's trying to take us out.
Right.
And so for me, I mean, I just know that part of my issue, even with food and weight and emotional eating, I need to delay. I need to talk about some stuff. I needed to.
What did you need to talk about in order
what
to
are you
get clear?
talking about? I needed to talk about insecurities. Okay, so I talk about it in the book, but I'll just sum it up right now. I had this revelation that I had become allergic to being good. I could only be great. I was in a situation when I was young where I was good at playing the drums at 12 years old.
Okay.
And I mean, I was really good. And I was in our church back at the house, and I was better than the drummer that played for our main service.
Like the adult.
Service, you know what I'm saying? And all.
I remember being in a similar situation like this, not almost, but it was similar where where I was also training in my mom's in my room with my mom's pots. So I used to play the drums with this pair of scissors, two coffee tins, Nestle and Recoffee, and I used to play. And I used to rock it, man, with that song, Jesus is my help. Jesus, my help. And I used to rock it with the scissors. And I used to perfect it so much with the scissors and the Recoffee cans that when we came to the church, we blew everyone's mind there. Sponsored by Recoffee. Anyway. So let's hear what you got to say, brother, about the church situation.
All I wanted at 12 years old is to play drums in the big church. That's what I called it, playing drums at the big church. And the guy who was over all the music, he was like, you all really good. And they would always give me props and all the other stuff. But he would always let this older guy play that was not as good as me. And I would come every Tuesday, the only kid there for their rehearsals. And I'd be there with my sticks. I would come early. I'd make my parents drop me off. I'd know all the music and everything like that, but they would never let me play. And I did this for months. Like months. I knew all the music. I knew all the songs. I was hoping that he would just fall dead and just fall off the thing. Then I would able to catch it. I mean, this is in my 12-year-old mind. You know what I'm saying?
You are planning a murder scene to be able to play the drums. Hey, you are calling people that you know that has connections to the lengths we go.
But like, I knew I could do it if somebody would just give me an opportunity. And they never let me play. And I remember being on that maroon chair and see, this is how subtle trauma can come into your life. And this is why we have to evaluate it. I remember sitting on a maroon chair in the back and I decided that being good was not good enough. I had to be great at everything.
Wow.
Because if I was great, they couldn't deny me.
Sure.
Like if I was great, there's no way they wouldn't let me do that.
Imagine having that type of mentality of, I can't be good, I've got to be great, because good is not good enough. What a perspective.
And from that day on, at 12 years old, my engine changed. I couldn't be good at anything. Okay? No, I'm not playing the game unless I'm going to smash you.
Come on.
Like I'm not. And now, this now seems like at that age, it seems endearing. It's like, wow, this young man is, wow, he's proactive and he's gifted and
Motivated,
he's motivated,
hungry.
he's hungry. Like, and so now I'm getting attention from it. And now I'm getting accolades from it. And now so it's like, oh, this is great. I made the right decision. Like, I'll never be good. Nothing good is good. I will only be great. So my car had to be great. My business had to be great. My wife had to be great. My family had to be great. Everything had to be great. And this served me for almost 20 years until I reached this level of success and everybody wants me to come speak and everybody wants me to do this. And we found out that my only son had autism. So now my wife is broken. She's depressed. I'm confused. I'm the guy that's supposed to have crazy faith, but I can't do anything about my son. He's no longer looking at us. He's not saying any words. His younger sister's developing past him. Like he's peeing and pooping on himself every day. Like what's going on? And now my motor is I have somebody here that looks like me that's not great. And it's not even good.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how to process this. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to make more money. I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. But my wife needs me. I have the person I've loved for my whole life sitting here saying, I don't care if we have any more money.
Wow. Have you ever been in a situation like this where you are torn between the two? Everyone needs you. This person needs you. That person needs you. It's almost like you're fighting fires on different ends. I'm curious to see where he's going with this.
I need my husband.
Wow.
I need you to sit with me. And I'm like, well, yeah, you sit there, but because now my motor to be great is no longer what's going to help me. If I would have taken all the dates, if I would have kept going, I would have lost my wife and my family.
Wow.
I would have lost my legacy. I would have lost the thing that meant the most to me. And this is the culmination of me having to deal with, like, where did that come from? And so I was sitting with my mentor outside of Oklahoma City in a Crackle Barrel. And he's listening to me talk, and he's sitting there. His name is Tim Ross. And he has this huge pile of eggs that he's eating. He loves eggs for some reason. And I just remember seeing the eggs, and he said, so when did you decide that your standard for this life was greater than God's? And I was like, what are you talking about? And because I'm a person of faith, we look at the Bible as principles and practical things that we can use to live our lives by.
Okay.
He said, remember in creation, it said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and the star, and he told the ocean how far it could come and created land and did all of these things. And he looked back at his work and he said, it's good.
It's good.
He created the solar system and the galaxies and all the animals. And then he looked back at it and said, it's good. And he does all this creating. On the sixth day, he creates man and woman. And he looks at him and says, this is good.
Okay, Doc, where are you going with this?
He said, if God's standard is good, why is your standard great?
Whew. If God's standard is good, why is our standard great? Go a bit deeper. I'm a little torn between the two here. Come on.
And something inside of me was like, whoa, I can't keep living and not even appreciating all of the good that's around me because of the trauma that happened to me at 12.
Wow.
And now I don't even like good. I don't even appreciate good, where people would love to have good. I can't have good money. I have to have great money.
Okay.
I can't be good in my relationship. My relationship has to be great. I'm literally missing the essence of life. and what's right in front of me. I can't even be grateful for what people would kill for because of the trauma that happened on the maroon chairs when I was 12.
Wow.
And this is part of what led to me going through this healing journey and transformation so that I could really, really live life to the fullest.
This is a powerful story, man. And
That was powerful. And it just brings us to the point of what comes to my mind is gratitude. You know, sometimes we want to be great at everything, but we typically forget about the good things that's currently in our lives. I want to thank you for joining on this episode. All those that has joined in. Hey, Steve, I see you. I see you there, brother. Hey, Mathan Reese, and all those that has joined in. A major salute to all of you. Listen, if you have a video that you found very inspiring, I want you to drop it down in the link below. Drop it down in the link below, and it may be featured on the next episode. But I want to thank you for joining. This is Randall Reacts, and tomorrow we'll have another video here for you. But until next time, peace.